Strikes, featuring the best Candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now in our 15th season, your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and it is week 2 of our 4th ladder series, and last week we saw 5th seed Mike Morgan advance.
Dave Oliveri out of Everett did a nice job for his very first appearance on television, but now it's week number, if I'm correct, 4 weeks in a row now of Mike Morgan either in doubles or singles or some combination thereof.
And up the ladder he goes, and this week he takes on 3rd seed Chris Sargent as we meet our bowlers this afternoon. First, our 5th seed, last week's winner, 397 to 326 over Dave Oliveri. It's Mike Morgan from Lynn, Massachusetts.
A familiar name, a familiar sight on the lanes on WNDS out of Lynn. Average 128, high single is 212, a high triple of 474. He bowls out of the Metro Bowl in Peabody, Mass, and been bowling for 35 years.
And he will take on our 3rd seed, Chris Sargent. He hails from Haverhill, Massachusetts.
And another power bowler, I guess you could call him, with an average of 130. High single of 199. Chris Sargent's high triple is 530. His roll-off score was 648 for 3rd place seeding, and he bowls at St. Joe's Lanes in Haverhill.
Up the ladder we go. The winner of this match advances. Of course, the ultimate winner of this ladder series will earn a spot in our Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. It's Mike Morgan against Chris Sargent from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. We're set for this afternoon's match, and we'll be right back on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
Style, performance, and service. These are just some of the family values at the Thompson family of dealerships. With not 1, not 2, but 3 big lots in one convenient location. You get more cars, more choice, and more value for your money. So if you're looking for a new or used car and you want the best range and service in New England, come to Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and McMulkin Chevrolet. The Thompson family of dealerships at Nashua.
Good answer.
I've waited a long time to say this. Alex, make it a true daily double.
All right.
We're playing Jeopardy! Jeopardy! Jeopardy!
That's when I had blonde hair, obviously.
Jeopardy! Jeopardy!
And the answer is Jeopardy.
Weeknights at 11:30 on WNDS.
This is week 2 of our 4th ladder series, and you look at the 5 bowlers starting out. Mike Morgan last week beating Dave Oliveri, setting up this match this week with 3rd seed Chris Sargent, with Lou Alberghini and Steve Plant waiting in the wings, and it'll be Mike Morgan first to bowl here this afternoon in our 2nd match of this series. And he had a strong match last week beating Dave Oliveri 397 to 326.
A rather quiet start. 4 horsemen and the 9 in the back row. 4 horsemen left side. Some fairly inconsequential wood on the deck. Could be some help. But you got to hit the object pin, which is the 1. 131, 128, and 138. The 3 games for Mike Morgan of Lynn last week over Dave Oliveri.
And he'll start out with an 8 box. Last week we told you about several letters that we got from viewers about the origination of the term half Worcester and full Worcester. We have a few more that we'll acknowledge here this afternoon.
5-7 and no wood. Strictly a cut shot on this one.
The general consensus, though, is that Don Gillis made reference to it on the old Channel 5 show, Fun for All Ages, that the team from Worcester was bowling a team from Boston, and the team from Worcester in the late stages of the match needed a mark to win, and the bowler punched through the 3 and the 9, and someone from the crowd yelled out, "You're halfway back to Worcester," and thus a term was born.
I'm wondering what the time frame was. Did any of the viewers indicate when that incident allegedly occurred?
Yeah, I think in one of the letters that we had, it was something that made reference to the fact it might have been back in the 40s.
So there's a story that had some real legs, that the story's continued for over 50 years.
Chris Sargent introduces himself with a mark to start out. We'll tell you a little bit about Chris Sargent, our third seed. And he's 28 years old, and he's been on television a whole bunch of times. 15 times on WNDS, 3 times on the old Channel 5 show. He's a groundsworker for the city of Haverhill, and he's no stranger to the Tournament of Champions, having won the tournament in 1995. And he was also a participant in 1996. And he'll double up to start out. 2 marks to start out for Chris Sargent. Pretty impressive way to start out for Chris. And Mike Morgan responds with the spare opportunity.
The bowlers don't look nervous when things get started, but many have admitted to us on several occasions that the butterflies are doing somersaults in their stomachs as things get underway.
Thank you to Frank Gagne of Leominster, Massachusetts, who wrote one of the letters about the half Worcester. And you can tell by the tone of the letters from the people who have been writing their passion for the game of Candlepin bowling and how they've been following it over the years. Watching first Jim Britt, as one of the writers made reference to, who started the Channel 5 show, then Don Gillis for many years. Lucille Diaz wrote a note about the half Worcester, and we thank Lucille for that as well. And another note here from Marge, I believe it's Craik from Bradford, Vermont. Thank you, Marge. Nice to hear from you.
Dick, I really thought that we'd get all varying stories that would be not at all related or similar, and every story was basically the same.
Pretty much the same.
Which really confirmed the origin, at least as Don Gillis conveyed it.
Dennis Damaris from Rochester, New Hampshire wrote in about the very same program, the very same explanation for the term half Worcester. That must be it.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I was stopped in the last several weeks since that show aired, and people who didn't know the story but acknowledged the fact that they were buzzing about it.
And we had a nice note that we made reference to last week from the McGonigal family in Waltham about 5-pin bowling, which we had talked about on one of our earlier shows. And we had another letter from Beth Power from Brockton, Massachusetts, who not only talked about 5-pin bowling, she sent us a diagram of 5-pin bowling and talked about the scoring. And you can get a perfect game in 5-pin bowling of 450. Which is quite a perfect game.
A 250 average for a man is considered excellent, it says here. Whereas if you can bowl around 110, you can bowl on the Pro Tour in candlepins.
In 5-pin bowling, each pin carries a different value, and that's the difference. That's the difference of the scoring.
The way scoring is done in bowling is very confusing to the uninitiated.
Chris Sargent really making some shots. 3 marks in the first 4 boxes, as he appears to have warmed up in a big hurry.
Didn't take him long, did it? Making up for lost time. Haven't seen him on the show for a couple seasons now. We're glad to have him back. Well-known name. He holds 2 professional tour titles to his credit.
Mike Morgan, a solid pocket shot, leaving the 5 and the 7 untouched. Gave it a shot.
Mikey, don't worry about it, kid. It's going to be there.
Once again, brother Tom Morgan is here coaching, cheerleading.
$10 from Mike Morgan. I want to tell you about the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua.
You have to do it so early. We're two games away from going over there.
They have a lunch buffet every day, $5.95, all you care to eat, and it is just absolutely scrumptious.
Yes, it
The
is.
dinner buffet on Thursday from 5 to 8, and on Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. So right after you watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes on a Sunday afternoon, you can head down to the Kahala right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua and enjoy the wonderful dinner buffet. Terrific selection of Chinese, Polynesian, spicy if you like it, doesn't have to be if you don't like it, Szechuan specials, of course, and just about everything your heart desires. If you like Chinese food, you will love the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge, 350 Amherst Street in Nashua, right next door to Leda Lanes. So the next time you come bowling or come to watch one of our tapings at Leda Lanes in Nashua, make sure you stop at the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge. For takeout, call 889-5200. It's the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge in Nashua.
And another spread eagle. Seen our share of those today.
Take 3 on the right, and now try to clean up the left.
Chris with 3 spares so far, but filling only 4 pins in 2 of his 3 spares, 8 in the other. That's what's kept Mike Morgan in this game, is the fill balls for Chris haven't been all that great.
Jack Ray, Don Richmond, and Gary Santora are 3 qualifiers for the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. Who will be the 4th?
Congratulations to Gary Santora, rolling a 175 game in the Stacia Zernike Memorial Invitational Tournament just a couple of weeks ago.
We talked about Chris Sargent being just 28 years old, and another mark. He is racking up marks. That's his 4th mark in 6 boxes in the first frame, in the first string. Mike Morgan. The concentration, you saw, you had a great look at the concentration as he was getting ready to deliver that ball. Focused. The 7-pin remains. And a spare from Mike Morgan. His 2nd mark of the first string.
This is, I guess, about the 60th or 61st television appearance for Mike Morgan.
Think he's used to it by now?
Yeah, I think he is. But still, he admitted to getting the butterflies. And it wouldn't be a good thing, I suppose, if you didn't occasionally get a little nervous. It would mean you're too complacent.
What a break he had there is he had the 4 horsemen on the right side, and 3 of them toppled, leaving just the 10-pin with some wood on the deck. And I think the wood is okay for him.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where he hits this one. It's going to go.
I suppose he could ricochet, but he did. That's what I thought was a possibility.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I thought that was a no-brainer.
91 through 8 for Mike Morgan. Chris Sargent steps to the line, working on a spare. Fills the spare with a strike. 2 marks in a row for Chris Sargent. He has 5 marks. Watch it again. Crossed over to the Brooklyn side, but wiped the deck clean.
That went in a hurry. 7-pin last to go.
Looking for bonus money. Bounced it down. Spread eagle and 1.
Well, that's his 2nd spread eagle now in the last 4 frames. Mikey Morgan's had at least 1 as well.
He'll put 6. Check it. He'll put 6 in the strike. And a 7 box.
And again, some tough fills for Chris Sargent, keeping Mike Morgan not too far away, about a mark and a half. He's only had 2 marks to Chris Sargent's 5. But again, the fill has been very tough for Chris Sargent.
16 pin differential with 2 boxes remaining in the first string.
Should be a lot more than that.
Again, trying to bust up the split. Does that. And again, wood on the deck for Mike Morgan. You just have to try and spray something here. And will he take it? He will not.
Even the ball came back for a second attempt, and the 8-pin stays.
That ball coming back up the channel, distracting Mike a little bit, but he'll take a 9 box. He has 100 through 9.
Oops, we'll fix that. 100 in the 9th frame for Mike Morgan, putting him a couple marks behind Chris Sargent. The first of 3 games this afternoon on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Mike, 41 years old, employed by General Electric in Lynn, where he prepares engines for assembly. He and Kathleen have a son, Mike. And Mike's hobbies include golf, softball, and he enjoys all athletic activities. Terrific attempt by Mike Morgan, but not able to convert, and he will finish with a 109. 109 first string for Mike Morgan. Now, Chris Sargent has an opportunity to open some daylight. He has 107 already through 8. Punching through. Can he break up the split? Yes, he can. So he has a real good spare shot here.
Now this one is a no-brainer.
Think you can make this one?
I don't know.
Keep the ball on your lane. That was the key.
That's the key. It's the only way you don't make it is if you put it in the channel. Once the ball hits the channel, anything that goes after that doesn't count.
6 marks in the first string for Chris Sargent.
Button didn't link any together for bonus money.
That's right in the head pin. 9-pin fill there.
Well, he really gets action off the sidewalls, doesn't he, Dick? A great sweeping action.
He closes with another spare. So he has 136 plus a ball. It'll be a 30-plus pin lead. Put 6 in the spare, 145.
142.
142. 142 final first string total for Chris Sargent, and a 33-pin lead over Mike Morgan as we head to the second string of this match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leader Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV.
And the summer gets hot. Water country's a very cool spot. There's no better place to feel and be young. Water country, have some fun. So get into riding and sliding and splashing. Feel the excitement, climb on the action. Having a good time under the sun. Water country, have some fun. Water country, water country, water country. Have some fun.
Hi, I'm Trooper Clifford Cars with the New Hampshire State Police.
And I'm Sergeant Scott White of the Massachusetts State Police.
Our uniforms and cruisers may be different, but our goal is the same. That is to protect you.
We try to educate and enforce, but there are people out there that still don't get it.
We know because people are still dying. If you don't believe us, come right along with us someday.
The results might save your life, because drinking and driving will eventually teach you about one thing: death.
Chris Sargent will be first to bowl in the second string as we're ready to go. He takes a 33-pin lead into the second string of this match with Mike Morgan. 142 to 109. Right on the head pin and a strike. Big way to start the second string. And they all go.
There should be no questioning his 130 average, that's for sure. Power bowler. Can't seem to string them together, though, so far.
That's 3 in a row, but not on the same string.
Same game, right.
Almost.
How do you get that pin to wiggle, the 3-pin?
And not have it go? I don't know the answer to that. It's nailed to the floor.
And then the 4-pin, the 6-pin behind it.
Both.
Oh, my.
I really don't know how that happened, because that one seemed to be even a harder hit than the first one. And it just did not go down.
It's only about an 8 or 10 degree off axis that a pin will fall. I'm not sure what the exact angle is.
Mike Morgan starts out with a strike.
It's one of those take that strikes. And his first one today. Chance to get some pins back as he'll bowl opposite a Chris Sargent open frame in the second.
The voice you're hearing in the background is the voice of Mike Morgan's brother Tom, his head cheerleader. Right on the head pin again. Can't break up the split.
It's the 2, the 4, and the 6.
Got a shot at it. Nope. Another terrific crowd on hand here at Leda Lanes for our taping. $10 for Mike Morgan, 29. He's picked up 4 pins.
Great crowd, considering the fact that on today's taping in early January, the weather was fairly inclement, at least for the early morning hours.
And the crowd has continued to come in during the course of the day. Sargent leaves the 4 horsemen on the left. Chris is just 28 years old. He's married to Jean. They've been married for 6 years, and they have 3 children, Patrick, Allison, and Christopher Jr. And he lists as his hobbies hunting, golf, and outdoor activities, and he picks up a beautiful spare.
And Dick, he was the WCBC Rookie of the Year for the men in the 1993-94 season. He's had a couple of Pro Tour titles so far, and a pretty fine career for a young man under 30 in a game that really is one that you can be a lot older and still continue to be successful in. So he's got many good years ahead of him.
He really does attack the pins.
Boy, does he. I've never bowled at St. Joe's in Haverhill. I've been aware of it and don't know really too much about the bowling center. But that's what he calls home.
And he'll take a $9.
Come on, boy, it's fun time, brother. Let's go. Come on, Mikey, nothing better than you here. Let's start enjoying ourselves.
Mike Morgan to lane 34. 4 horsemen right side. Chris Sargent just made the 4 horsemen on the left side. Almost.
So the 6-pin remains in hopes of getting a 10 box.
It'll be a 9 box.
Mikey, come on, one for the break right here, baby. 9
Our WNDS TV 50 crew working here at Leda Lanes will tell you who they are when we come back from the break, making it all possible for you to watch. Candlepin Stars Strikes. Mike Morgan buries it in the pocket, but the 10-pin remains.
And with any amount of luck, you'll have a straight, direct shot at it without having to deal with that piece of wood that rocks a little bit to the left. Yeah, it settles down finally.
I'm not sure if I wouldn't play the wood. It looks like it's angled perfectly. He's playing the wood, and he'll take the spare.
So suddenly you've taken Brother Tom's place as his coach, huh?
And we go to the break with Morgan working on a mark, and Morgan trailing Chris Sargent as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV.
If you want your car to pass this daily test, come to a place with a track record of great service, low prices, and nationwide warranties. Come to MEINEKE.
At MEINEKE, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
Get to the bottom of your muffler problem. Save big during the muffler sale at MEINEKE.
For a limited time, get 25% off lifetime mufflers at MEINEKE. At MEINEKE, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
Park is the one for family fun.
The excitement out for the fun. Whalum Park, it's for everyone.
We spent the entire day riding the rides instead of waiting in long lines.
Hassle-free family fun.
Les Aranauer from Boston.
Great for the family, it's one of a kind. Whalum Park, for a whale of a time.
WNDS is proud to announce that we have been awarded the Station of the Year. The New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters, along with our peers in the television community, have chosen WNDS for this coveted award. A big thanks goes out to all our viewers and supporters.
Chris Sargent gets ready to bowl on lane 34 as we are ready to continue this match with Sargent and Mike Morgan. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. Happy to have you with us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV as Sargent drops 8 with his first ball.
A runner-up today wins $175. And the winner goes on to face Lou Alberghini Jr. next week, who is our second seed in this fourth ladder series.
Sargent with 2 marks in his first 4 frames. He had 7 marks in the first string, and this time he just misses. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV is made possible by our crew. Working here at Leda Lanes, our director is Larry Taylor. Working on audio is Ken Knight. Tape machine handled by Dave McCarthy. Lisa Law is on graphics. Paul Hunter is working video, and the camera crew of Steve Giordani, Gary Van Nortwick, and Kevin LaFond, all working here at Leda Lanes today to make this telecast possible, and we appreciate their efforts.
Almost caught a break. The 2-pin stays up out of the 2-4-5 configuration.
He's gone cold. This will be 3 boxes in a row without a mark. Haven't seen that. That's the first time that's happened in the match.
You're right. What did he have? 7 marks the first game?
7 marks in the first game.
Yet no bonus money. How unusual. But he piled up a nice 34-pin lead to start this match with Mike Morgan, who isn't used to coming from behind in such fashion.
Well, now Mike's working on a spare. Missed the head pin, put 6 in the spare. And will he get it? No, he won't. Watch that pin. It's angled pretty good. Take a shot at it. It's going to turn away from it, though. It took a left turn. That'll be a 10 box. He's gained back 5 pins. Crossed over to Brooklyn and takes a strike. That one was slow developing, but it finished with them all down.
And that's what's called a backdoor strike, folks, when you get a pin from behind taking out one of the pins closer to the front. For those of you, we've been discussing bowling terminology the last few weeks, origins and such, and that's called a backdoor strike.
You will be quizzed.
That's right.
We would love to hear from you, by the way, if you have any bowling information you'd like to pass along to us or just to say hello. The mailing address is Candlepin Stars and Strikes, WNDS TV 50, Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038.
Speaking of mail, I want to thank our friend Tony Zernicke for some correspondence that he sent along. Tony, for many years, of course, essentially running the WCBC with his excellent and very thorough record keeping. Not here today, often comes to the bowling tapings. Took a bit of a spill on the ice in early January, and unfortunately couldn't be here today. Still not feeling all that well. So if you do know Tony, give him a call, tell him hello, hope and wish him well from us, from Dick and Mike here at the Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Hope to see him back, perhaps for our February taping a couple weeks from now.
Around Webster, they have this big patch of ice known as Webster Lake.
And what's that other lake?
Oh, that's the same lake. It's
oh,
they call
you're
it
not going to give me the 25-letter Indian name?
I used to know it when I was a kid, but chugga bug, bugga chugga chugga bugga bugga chugga something.
Sounds like
that,
a Roger Miller song, actually. Well, here's Mike Morgan's chance now to get some ground back because Chris Sargent 5 frames in a row without a mark.
The translation of the name of the lake, as I remember, was you fish on your side of the lake, I'll fish on my side of the lake, and nobody will fish in the middle or something like that.
Well, you know, we'll be getting mail now from that part of the state.
That's fine.
I know that's why you throw these little bombs out to encourage people to give us a little local color and lore from where they are.
Let's have someone send in the correct spelling of the name of Webster Lake.
Yes, and the pronunciation.
Mikey tried to pull off that spare by sliding the wood over, but he threw it past the wood on the deck.
Of course, New England is filled with lots of names to those that didn't grow up here, are difficult to pronounce on first sight, like Leicester and Worcester and Gloucester.
Easy for me, I grew up there.
Yeah, I'm a Detroit kid, so I had to take a few lessons when I moved here in '84.
He threw it past the head pin, but he has a spare opportunity. He's picked up 15 pins and an opportunity for more with a mark here because he's up against an open frame. As Chris Sargent has all of a sudden gone cold with 5 open frames in a row. Missed the head pin.
Boy, he's missing his object pins on the spares. Still plenty of time, but boy, he could have pulled it up even here in this game.
That'll be a 10 box. He has picked up 15 pins. It's an 18-point differential in the match. Could have been a lot closer if he had that mark right there. Now Sargent tries to break a streak of 5 boxes in a row without a mark. Chris Sargent, a high single of 199, a high triple of 530.
You know, you had to look at that twice, didn't you?
Double take. There's a spare. Nice spare for Chris Sargent.
Figure 530 is a...
I thought I'm looking at the roll-off score, 530, but...
That's about a 170, almost a 177 average for 3 games. Imagine. I'm wondering if the 199 was a part of that.
That's a nice pocket shot in the spare, so he's found the range again. Another spare opportunity. And he will convert. So he finishes strongly in the second string with back-to-back spares.
Which he did last game, by the way. Spares in the 9th and 10th.
And the pressure shifts right back to Mike Morgan. Right on the head pin, he puts 7 in, 123, second string for Chris Sargent, a 2-string total of 265. Morgan really needs to mark to stay close. That's a good shot in the pocket, and the 5 and the 9 remain. The wood providing room for a little margin of error.
Very little.
He'll pick one of them. He'll take the 5-pin and leave the 9-pin.
It's been that kind of day for Mike Morgan.
113.
Well, he can still win this game. You need a mark to do it, though. He could win by, well, even 20 pins with a triple strike. Give him $925 if he does that.
Missed the head pin. Tough shot to make right here. A shot at it. Ooh.
7-8 still there.
He's going to give back one of the pins. He'll lose the string by a pin. 123 to 122. And a 34-pin lead for Chris Sargent heading into the third and final string of this match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Melita Lanes in Nashua. We'll be right back.
Style, performance, and service. These are just some of the family values at the Thompson family of dealerships. With not one, not two, but 3 big lots in one convenient location. You get more cars, more choice, and more value for your money. So if you're looking for a new or used car and you want the best range and service in New England, come to Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and McMulkin Chevrolet. The Thompson family of dealerships at Nashua.
Town News. Let Southern New Hampshire's fastest growing direct mail publication promote your business or community group. For delivery, call 642-4499.
Ready to go with the third string of this match between Mike Morgan and Chris Sargent, with Sargent leading 34 pins is the advantage, 265 to 231. Strong finish in the second string by Sargent, putting back that margin he enjoyed after the first string of play. Now Morgan to start the third string. Pretty good start.
And that's frozen wood on the 4.
Now the 4 danced an inch or two, but stayed up there. Morgan starts with a spare.
And he needs to keep doing that for a while. He's got 3.5 marks to make up just to pull even with Chris Sargent. You know, he's not going to sit still either.
Now, Sargent went through a period of 5 boxes in a row without a mark. And since then, he's warmed back up again. Now here's Morgan putting 8 in the spare. Again, the head pin is key here because that deadwood is frozen on the back pin. He's got it.
And a good start for Mikey Morgan.
2 spares to start the third string. Puts a little pressure on Chris Sargent to respond. Otherwise, that lead could evaporate in a big hurry. Sargent on the head pin. Can he break up the split? He cannot.
Well, he's got a lot of wood in there. Still got to make it a cut shot.
Did make the shot.
So Mike Morgan's going to get about 10 pins back.
That'll be a 9 box.
He waved it off, yes. Fell into the gutter just before hitting that piece of wood.
That's a pocket shot, and it is a 9-pin drop, and Chris Sargent can't believe it.
He gave it kind of an indignant look. He said, "How dare you stay standing?" But it did.
5-pin still stands. I don't know how, but it still stands. Not anymore. So he responds with a mark in the second frame. And now Mike Morgan needs to just continuously mark to try to climb back into this thing.
No bonus money today.
No, it's amazing when you look at the score sheet and see all the marks.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan broke up the split. Looks for bonus money right here. This is a $50 shot for Mike Morgan. Missed it.
Kind of skip lobbed it at the line. Went too far to the left.
10 box for Morgan. Costly miss there. Not so much for the $50, which I'm sure would be nice to have, but he needs to continue the mark to get back into it. And the exclamation point is added right there. It would have been 4 marks in a row.
Exactly. Now, it's not the money, Dick. It's the fact that his brother, Tommy, will be riding him all the way back to Lynn from Nashville when they leave here today.
3 marks in 4 boxes for Mike Morgan. And now Chris Sargent working on a spare. Grabs the head pin.
Boy, they scatter when he hits it.
That wood is coming back out. It's going back toward the pins. Watch out. Something could happen here if it picks up enough momentum. I don't think it will.
There's enough other pins to absorb the momentum, so they'll just kind of bounce around among themselves.
And Chris Sargent has to figure out the wood. Well, he had it all the way.
His first chance at bonus money this game with a couple of spares up.
Never a doubt in his mind on that one.
I'm sure.
That's the quarter Worcester.
I guess it is, but I don't imagine there's a story behind that. It's just a mathematical version of the half Worcester.
And he almost picks it up. $10 and we go to a break as Mike Morgan tries to climb back into it. He's working on a spare when we come back to Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV. We'll be right back.
Oh, I can't look. Come on, Dad! Uh-oh. You know what this means? Burgers at Friendly's.
Swing by Friendly's for our juicier, tastier Big Beef burgers, like the new barbecue bacon cheeseburger, built with crispy bacon, cheddar cheese, and tangy barbecue sauce. Oh, yeah.
Dad, you're crowding the plate.
Now get an Oreo soft serve sundae for only 99 cents with any Big Beef burger at Friendly's.
You okay? Come on, let's have some breakfast. You know, it's okay to be a little sad. I mean, you grew up in this house. You took your first step right over there. Remember when we got Max? He was such a good puppy. Do you remember the first time I gave you Cheerios? You were such a little gentleman.
You still feel good giving him Cheerios. Low sugar, healthy whole grain oats, and kids love them.
We'll have good memories in the new house, right?
Yeah.
The one and only Cheerios.
Mike Morgan ready to bowl as we are heading down the home stretch. Third string of this match with Mike Morgan and Chris Sargent. Morgan trailing by 25, minus whatever he gets on this ball. And it's a good strong 8-pin fill. With another spare leave, he could conceivably have had 5 marks in a row if he makes this. And he'll leave the 10-pin. Tough miss. And that'll be a 9 box for Mike Morgan.
74 half.
2 misses that he'd like to have back, though.
Well, there you go. You pointed it out when you said they could have all been spares. And on most days for Mike Morgan, they would have been.
That's right in the pocket.
And another spare leave. Hoping to put the ball between the 2 and the 4, or on the right side of the 2. Either way, should go. There you go.
Nice spare for Mike Morgan. In the 6th frame, he has 4 spares and 2 near misses.
But this isn't horseshoes, and those near misses will not help him out.
And Chris Sargent scattering the pins along the deck, but still the 5 and the 10 remain. Tried to slide the 5 over to the 10. And that'll be a 9 box.
Chris was ranked at 24th last year on the WCBC Pro Tour ratings. They essentially rate you according to how many pins you knock down over the 6 tournaments that they bowl. And he was 24th.
Well, that was not a good pocket shot for Chris Sargent. And look at what he's left with. Basically, he has to hit the head pin. If he hits the head pin, he'll make a spare. And he'll take the spare right there. Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
I'd say most of the time.
Because that was not his best first ball,
No.
and it left him a real good spare. Now Morgan working on a spare. Threw it past the head pin. Again, he breaks out of the split and has a pretty good opportunity.
No wood to help him out. It's the 1, the 3, and the 6.
Well, 2 ways to make it, inside or out. He'll take it outside and he'll go around it.
Too far outside. His accuracy a little bit off today. Just enough to cost him a lot of pins.
Mike Morgan needs to mark the rest of the way.
It's a safe statement. Big lead in this game, but he came in with a big deficit, so he's still got some work to do.
Again, he missed the head pin and leaves the 4 horsemen on the right side.
Looking a little tentative on a few of these shots.
That time took the head pin straight on. So he'll be open for these 2 boxes. And he's running out of time, as Chris Sargent is really in good shape right now, working on a spare. Wow.
2-pin fill.
Geometrically, that's impossible.
Yeah. Well, you know, he had a 1 fill earlier this game, a 2 fill here. That's the only reason Mike Morgan is still in this match.
But how do you hit the head pin and leave a wall of pins like that standing?
I do not have the intellect to help you out with that one, Dick.
Boy, that's a tough 5 box.
And this match is far from over.
It sure is.
Because box to box, completed boxes anyway, Mike Morgan has a 1-pin lead, which is stunning. And another nasty split. 2 and the 6. And the wood is really of no help.
And
It really was, though.
Yeah. We are going to be dead even going into the final 2 frames of this match, which is really remarkable. A 10 box. This match is 9 pins to Chris Sargent's advantage right now.
And Mike Morgan is a very lucky man to still be in this match. And he'll be the first to admit that afterwards if he does go on to win.
So it's a mark away, a mark separating these 2 bowlers right now. If Mike Morgan can put 2 marks up here, he would put pressure on Sargent to make a mark. That's a 9-pin drop with a solid pocket shot, leaving the 7-pin. Couldn't have thrown it any better.
This is a routine shot for Mike Morgan. I just wonder how his confidence is at this point.
Just missed it. That's one he had to have.
If he doesn't do a mark here, he can pretty much forget it.
Oh, he absolutely needs a mark here.
Mark and a real good fill.
Well, that wood out in front, depending on where it ultimately, well, it's out of the way, but it's coming back now. Now he's got a clear shot at the 5-pin. Needs the mark and a real big count. He's got the mark. Now he needs a mark. If he puts a 9 or a 10 on the board here, he would force Chris Sargent to pin the rest of the way. In the pocket, it will be 7. 136. 18 pins is what Chris Sargent needs in the next 2 boxes to tie. 19 pins to win.
Definitely not a given, but a mark here will pretty much close the door. Well,
tough shot.
He will try to use as much velocity as he can to really mix things up.
That's 9.
Pressure.
Very important 10 box.
And he needs 9 here to
9 to win.
$175 to the bowler who does not win today.
Half Worcester.
Well, pressure's on.
The crowd starts to murmur.
And in the event we have a tie, it's a 2-frame roll-off. And that's a very good possibility right now.
1 to tie, 2 to win. It's a tie.
Tie.
Tie. And we'll go to a 2-box roll-off. 2 boxes, 2, fill the mark.
We're going to clear the scoreboard here.
Two boxes to roll it off. A dead heat. 367.
All right, we can't clear the scoreboard here, so we'll keep it for you verbally.
It comes down to a 2-box match.
That's it.
Now this is where you shine. Now this is your game right here.
Just missed it. Tried to slide it over.
Well, this is our first tie, Dick, in a year and a half of you and I doing the show.
Be a 9-box for Mike Morgan. We have gone overtime.
Yeah, we're unable to actually clear the scoreboard, so you won't see the score, but we'll tell you.
On the head pin, breaks up the split. Tough shot. 3, 5, 6, and 10.
Nice
spare for Mike Morgan.
So
now he will fill the spare.
29 of the strike here.
On the head pin, and he puts 7 in the mark. 26 for the 2 frames for Mike Morgan. If we are tied after 2 frames, we go a box at a time.
Sudden death, huh?
Sudden death.
Okay.
Sargent pushing it through as he has hit a wall.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to at least have 7. of a mark to win.
It's an 8 box. Now Chris Sargent needs to mark.
Needs a mark, and he needs 9. He needs 19 pins
to keep it going. Spread eagle and 1. Tough shot here for Chris Sargent.
It's a reverse shot of what he had just a moment ago. Spread eagle with the 8 last time. A terrible fate, and that's it.
And that will do it. Mike Morgan will advance. He will have defeated Chris Sargent in overtime in a tremendous come-from-behind victory for Mike Morgan. He will advance as we climb the ladder. We'll come back to talk about this great match at Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this.
Park is the one for family fun.
The excitement out for the fun. Whalum Park, it's for everyone.
We spent the entire day riding the rides instead of waiting in long lines.
Hassle-free family fun.
Les Aranauer from Boston.
Great for the family, it's one of a kind. Whalum Park, for a whale of a time.
You already know how important calcium is for your bones, but did you know that 85% of women still don't get enough? So start your day with Total. It's the only leading cereal that's an excellent source of calcium, even before adding milk. In fact, Total has more calcium than the milk itself. No other leading cereal comes close. Simple, low-fat, delicious. So good, you can feel it in your bones. Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. One bowl, one great source of calcium.
There are a few things you have to do to get to the Oval Office, and one is visit New Hampshire. And when the candidates come to New Hampshire to make news, who covers them for you? WNDS News Now. And after the talking is done, who listens? C-SPAN does, USA Today, Dallas Morning News, the Associated Press, and the Union Leader, to name a few. The eyes and the ears of the nation are tuned into WNDS News Now. WNDS News Now, weeknights at 7 and 10, only on WNDS. Watched in more homes than any other New Hampshire station.
We're running real short on time. We're going to go right to the bonus ball contest with our winner, Mike Morgan. All set to go. Mike. It's 5, it's 6 for Mike Morgan, and it's Margaret Lynch of Holbrook who picked 8. Margaret, a consolation prize for you. 10 free strings of bowling go to Mrs. Dawn Adelman of Melrose, Massachusetts. And we're just about out of time. Mike Morgan will advance to climb the ladder to play next week.
Lou Alberghini will be here. He's been on WNDS about a dozen times. We'll see you all next week.
It was an overtime win for Mike Morgan over Chris Sargent. For Mike Moran and our entire WNDS TV crew, I'm Dick Lutz from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. So long, everyone.